Hey everyone! Alright, so, well, blah, blah, whoop. Oh my god. Bloopers. Hey everybody! Alright, so, this is going to be a review on Middlesex by Eugenides. I don't know how to say his name, so if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. I probably butchered it. I don't know how to say his last name. But anyways, I'm going to put a picture of the novel either before this intro or like somewhere in the next 2 seconds, so look out for that. I don't know. I use a Kindle, and the cover on the Kindle, like whenever you push the book, is just bland white. Like, for instance, this is what the cover looks like if you were to go to the very first page of the novel. Just a bland white page with Middlesex and Eugenides or something. But if the home screen shows the actual cover, but it's very small, so I'm just gonna put a picture of it. I don't know. I just feel like it needs to cover somewhere in the video. But anyways, let's just dive right in, and I'm not about to start rambling. So the book Middlesex is about a girl named Calliope and her struggle with being an intersex person, or hermaphrodite. I recently heard that hermaphrodite is like a bad word for intersex people, so I don't know. I'm sorry, so I'm using intersex. And anyways, and it's really interesting because it starts out with her grandparents and their story. And it starts out in Greece, and they move to America, and they have their story about being immigrants in America, blah, blah, blah. Then they had their kids, who are Calliope's parents, or they have their one kid, who is one of Calliope's parents, and then blah, 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 that goes through Calliope's parents' lives, and then they finally have Calliope, and it goes through her life and her struggles, and it's really, really interesting book. And the book has kind of, like, the narrator is Calliope, and she's basically telling her story. And I was kind of confused by it, because, like, and they have, like, little flashes, I guess you like to say, to Calliope in present day. And I think she's, like, 34 or something. Or, I'm going to just say her. He is 34 at the time, and she's talking to her friend Julie, and I don't know if she's telling the story to Julie per se. I don't know, or if this is the book she wrote, or the story she's telling. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. But she's telling the story. I don't know if she's telling it to Julie, like I said, or if this is like the novel that she wrote, but she's not real in real life. You know what I'm trying to say? I probably lost you there. I'm so sorry. But anyways, so let's just get into my thoughts and the whole review of this whole book. I loved it. It was a really, really good book. And it was a Pulitzer Prize. It's on Oprah's bestseller, or Oprah's book list, or whatever. It's a really, really good book. And like I said, like how it was written, how it starts off with her grandparents' generation, and goes down to her parents' generation, and then to hers. It's just interesting, because, you know, like if I were to write a book about an intersex person, like, I probably wouldn't write like that, have wrote it like that. I would have probably wrote it more as someone just struggling with relationships being intersex. Like, you know, something so simple like that. Like, Jeffrey made it so much more by going from starting off with where her intersex started, to tell you the truth, because whatever her grandparents' story is the reason why she's an intersex person. And it's cool because then you can see that it skips a generation and it goes on to next. And I think that's really interesting, because it kind of just shows you a little bit about biology, and how someone might be worried about a certain thing that they did that could cause their kids to be something, but then it doesn't happen to their kids, and like, yes, but then they don't realize sometimes it skips your kids and goes on to their kids. So that's also cool to like realize when you need to watch what you do, biology-wise, or it might go to your grandkids, I guess. I don't know. And I just thought that was really cool, you know. It also took place in Greece, so you got to kind of learn a little part of the story took place in Greece, so you got to get to know like a lot about like Greece and like Greek people and their history and their beliefs and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool and really interesting. And then it also took part in Detroit. The rest of the book takes part in Detroit, which is also cool because I live outside Detroit, and I thought that was cool because I got to learn a little bit more about Detroit's history back then. And it takes place between like in the early 1900s on to like 1970 something, I believe. So you got to learn a lot about Detroit's history and the race riots and stuff like that. And then I thought that was really cool personally because I am like connected to that. Well, like to Detroit, you know, because I live outside. Get what I'm saying? I don't know. Sorry. I'm like so flustered. Okay. Anyway, so that was one reason I really like this book. And also it's just so brilliantly written. And it was really, I mean, it's a really, really good book. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, you can't hate this book. Honestly, you just really can't hate it. I mean, I understand, it's a really controversial book, I know. And there's a lot of people who don't understand this certain topic of intersex people or hermaphrodites and that kind of stuff. And that, you know, with that being said, there are going to be people who hate that book because, you know, there are people out there who don't understand that world. And I don't even necessarily understand it, but I accept it because I think there are people who are born that way, and it is what it is. And we're not going to get into this whole controversial like debate right now. But yeah, so yeah, there are going to be a group of people who probably don't find this book very appealing, blah, blah, blah. But overall, if you are one of those people, you're going to really love this book. It's really, really, really well written. And it's amazing. Like, I feel like everyone needs to just read it. Just read it and just read it. It's really good. The cons, though, there are a few cons. They're not, like, bad or anything, but it's just a really big book. Okay, it's like 500-something pages. It took me forever to read it. And I am a slow reader. I'm not going to say, like, and not in the sense of, like, me reading, like, I don't even read like this, like, line by, like in 2 seconds. This is, like, the lines of the, you know, I don't know. I'm having like millions of these moments in this video right now. I'm sorry. Anyways, I don't like read super fast, but you know, I don't read like but that either. But I'm more talking in the sense like it takes me a while to finish a book because I usually read at night and I lay down and like in 2 minutes I fall asleep. So I basically just read like a page a night. And I don't know why. I love to read at night because I love to like lay down and be comfortable and read. But if I'm tired and I read, I fall asleep. And I'm usually tired at night because I work a lot. And I usually sometimes read during the day, like while I'm watching TV or something, or if I'm bored. But with this book, I kind of got distracted easily. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it wasn't one of those books that held me in. Like, it was a really good book, and like it had its parts where I just wanted to go back and read it and read. But it also had its parts where it's kind of boring and like too much information. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, can we just get like past this part kind of points. It had a lot of parts like that. It's a very complex book. There's a lot of information in it, and it's good, but it's also bad because it's like I just want to get to the problems and the climax and blah blah blah, and it was just, you know, I don't know. It was kind of like that. Like, it wasn't one of those books where it grasped me, like, oh my god, you know, like one of those really good books where you're at school or you're at work and all you want to do is go home and read or go somewhere and read or something. Like, it wasn't one of those books. Like, I could have gone off of my life and come back in 2 years and read it again and not even missed it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a really good book, but it's one of those books that I don't think I'm going to read again. I wasn't really dying to read it. It had its parts where I was dying to read it, but it wasn't like the overall book, and wasn't I want to like dive in and like never leave it. You know what I'm trying to say? That kind of sounds really weird, but whatever. It is what it is. But it was a really good book. That was like pretty much the only cons. It was a huge, complex book that I could not finish. And I started this book at the end of July. Yeah, and it's December right now. I finished it like 2 days ago, like December 4th. That wasn't 2 days ago, but last week. I finished it last week. And look at this. That's like 5 months. It took me 5 months to read this book. It just took me forever, and I'm trying to read faster, but it is what it is. Okay? I read what I read. I'm not one of those people who read like 5 books in 1 month. So I don't think I can ever do those November wrap-ups or December wrap-up because it's just going to be 1 book. Like, so I hope I get faster at reading, but, you know, I get distracted easily. That's what the thing is. That book, I got distracted super easily with it. Like, we'd be watching, like, reading it and watching TV, and then I'll put it down and be watching TV. Like, it wasn't, like, holding my attention. You know what I'm trying to say? But, I mean, that was me. It wasn't for you. I really honestly think that everyone should read it anyways. It's a good book. It's great. I'm not going to read it again, but it's a good book, and I'm glad I read it. But that's the end of this video, because I don't want to make this super effing long. So, the next book I'm reading right now is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And it's a YA book, and it's a contemporary love book, and I miss those. Well, not YA, but those contemporary love novels, because that's what my passion is for reading. I love reading contemporary romance, and so I decided I wanted to go back into it because I kind of gone away from it, and I'll tell you more about it during this review, but so far it's alright. We'll see what's up. This book I probably will finish in the next couple weeks or a few weeks, but that's asking too much of me, I guess. I don't know. Bye, guys. I don't want to make this long. Peace out, Girl Scout.